Well, here we are, the last Sunday in March. We have been playing with Michael Singer's The Untethered Soul this month, and today's message is entitled Living Life. Today is also in the Christian tradition, Palm Sunday, when Jesus rode triumphantly into Jerusalem and to shouts of Hosanna and quite a bit of gaiety and just wonderful feelings. But then we all know that in that 1 week that transpired, they were shouting to let us crucify him. Quite a difference from Sunday to Friday. And it's interesting, as I've been going through the information in Michael Singer's book, this last part of the book that we're on has a whole chapter entitled Contemplating Death, and how it is a very known fact that just as surely as each of us came through that birth experience into this life experience, we all will go through that death experience of the human body as well. It's inevitable. We all know that. And when it happens, how it happens is always a mystery. Nobody really knows. It's always an unknown in that respect. Singer said of death, "If you are living every experience fully, then death doesn't take anything from you. There's nothing to take because you're already fulfilled. That's why the wise being is always ready to die. You don't really need more time before death. What you need is more depth of experience during the time you've got. Death has made you a great promise in which you can find deep peace. The promise is that all things are temporal. They're all just passing through time and space. If you have patience, this too will pass." I found it extremely ironic that literally as I was typing out these words, my phone dinged and I got a text message from one of my friends telling me that her son had just passed. We never know when, we never know how, but we know that it will be. And I think that the peace that we can experience is to know that this self, capital S, that is within us, that is us, our true identity, is infinite, that it doesn't die, it doesn't go away. It changes form, yes, but that life that we have is eternal. And that's what Jesus the Christ was showing us when he gave the great example, that we all can do this. We can all and will all live on after this experience of what we call the human existence. Two other quotes from Singer that I thought stood out to me were, "Life is not something you get, it's something you experience." If we can look at life as the witness, as the observer, knowing that these experiences will come and they will go. The second one that I wanted to point out is it's not what you are doing, it's how much of you is doing it. How much of us are we entering into this life experience, the real us? That last quote is similar to what is attributed to Abraham Lincoln. "It's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years." So our life is ever changing, ever evolving, ever moving. And Singer tells us time and time again in this book to remain open, to let our hearts stay open and not closed. When we stay open, we're living in the present, in the moment, and we're allowing this energy, that's what we are, it's unseen, it's spirit, that spirit that is eternal, that will live on and on. We are letting it flow. That's what it wants to do. It wants to move. And so we leave our hearts open to let this energy flow. Because each and every moment then is fresh, is new. Something that we have never experienced before. One of the chapters in this book, in this section of the book I'm covering, is the path of unconditional happiness. And of course, what he's talking about here is unconditional happiness. That means it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. We can make the choice. Do I want to be happy or not? Am I going to be happy or not? As I was thinking about my friend and her son passing, she said in the text that her heart was broken. And I believe that. I personally have never had a child pass, but I can't imagine how devastating that is. And what I wanted to say, and which I didn't, because, it seems so trite, but I've always tried to go with that saying, and I don't know where it came from, is to smile because it happened. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Because we had the experience, the opportunity to know this boy, to have him be part of our lives, and to be grateful for that. Singer goes on in quite a bit of this book to recognize that it's very, very important for us to release the energy that we build up of our psyche. That we're always building this psyche, this facade, this thing that we present to the world that we think we are. And to let that go. He says, we must learn to be comfortable with psychological disturbances. We're going to be disturbed. People are going to do things that we don't want them to do. The only way to inner freedom is through the one who watches the self. The self, this is capital S, simply notices that the mind and emotions are unraveling and that nothing is struggling to hold them together. So you notice that you're noticing that, oh my gosh, I'm losing it here. Of course, this will be painful. You must be willing to face this pain. Stop defining the disturbed mind as a negative experience. When the mind is disturbed, ask, who am I that notices this? The center from which you watch disturbances cannot be disturbed. I want to say that last sentence again. The center from which you watch disturbances cannot be disturbed. We are consciousness. We are not our mind. We are not our emotions. We are this pure, eternal, happy being. I had a conversation with my little 2-year-old. Actually, she's going to be 3 in 2 weeks. And she noticed that I had a scrape on my arm. And so she wanted to fix it, wanted to give me a bandage. So we went into the bathroom, she got the bandage, and I just barely helped her a tiny little bit. She put the bandage on. And I was very impressed how well she did this. And then I said to her, oh, I wonder, what are you going to be when you grow up? Maybe you're going to be a nurse, maybe you're going to be a doctor. She didn't say anything, no response. I said, no, you'll probably be doing something with animals. That's you, because she's always pretending she's some sort of animal. A lot of times it's a combination of a dog and a horse or something. And she makes the noises and runs around the house, doing these things. And she said, no, I'm going to do what Mommy and Daddy do. And because they work at the home, she recognizes that. She sees that. And I said, because, by the way, what they do is they're on the computer most of the time or on Zoom calls. Because one of them is my daughter-in-law's a financial analyst for Mario's Pizza. So sometimes she presents to 200 people on these Zoom calls. And then my son is project manager for an electrical company that works with Cox Communications, and he has about 20 guys below him. So they're always on the phone talking, and they're doing things. And I said, oh, so what did Mommy and Daddy do? And she said, they use their heads. And I thought, well, that's an interesting way that a 2-year-old can assess what Mommy and Daddy's work do. And as I was telling somebody this, and they said, well, yeah, hopefully whatever work you're doing, you're using your head. But many people who work using their hands, literally as well, and molding things, making things, or whatever. But I thought I got a kick out of it, thinking that, well, this is what she's going to do, use her head. I have a calendar that's up on the wall, and there's a quote on it that says, if you're too busy to laugh, you are too busy. I believe one of the best things that we can do, subjects that we can laugh at, is ourselves. Have you done that very often? Have you done something and then just went, oh my gosh, that was really silly, or, just to help yourself, bring yourself out of this thing that I have got to be perfect in every way. I know that many of you have been to my home, and I have been privileged to have purchased this beautiful jade Buddha, solid jade Buddha. And I was happy to release the $2,000 it took to get him in my living room, because every time I look at him, I see that beautiful, smiling, laughing face. That's what drew me to him, is that laughter, that spontaneity, that release of joy. And it's interesting when you think about death and how that can be so sad, and yet in the next breath, you can be laughing. How many times have we done life celebrations with people who have, passed on? I'm sure their spirit is with us, and boy, when we have a party or we have reminiscences about what life was like with that person, there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of chuckling. And I honestly believe that we are all at choice at each and every moment if we want to be happy or not. And it has nothing to do with the conditions around us. Everything works together for good for those who love the Lord. Everything works together for good for those who love the Lord. When we love, we are set free. We are boundless. What does it mean to have our hearts open? It means accepting life as it is, whatever it brings us. And knowing that there is within us this beautiful, pristine energy of love that is always there to support us, always there to give us what we need. Singer writes, ecstasy is the only thing God knows. You can experience this ecstasy, and when you feel this joy, that's when you'll know God's nature. Nothing can create a problem. Your natural state will get higher and higher. So we don't have to be reeled into problems. We can know that there is a situation that's coming up that needs to be handled, needs to be addressed, and that this higher self within me can handle it. When we go within and we don't react, we don't do a knee-jerk response to it. And we know that this is presented to me for my higher growth. That's all it's about. What we're talking about today really is oneness. Oneness with the one, accepting all that there is. Jesus said, "Come to me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." We don't have to have heavy burdens. We can take that heaviness and let it go, release it, let it be. Recognize that this love energy that we are is light. is joyous, is loving, is giving. That we want to emulate this nature of giving, the wholeness that we are. Remember, it's not what you are doing, but it's how much of you is doing it. Be open this week to recognizing that higher self within you, to observe what's going on, to be that observer, to be that witness, and let it divinely lead you through whatever situation, whatever experience you have. Remember, this life experience is temporal, that we will move on to another type of existence, and it's all good. Life is for us in every way possible. So I want you to smile. I want you to be light. I want you to be happy, carefree, because that's what your true spirit truly is. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Namaste.